Good evening, my friends. You know me. I'm your friendly Lord of Darkness! I'm here today to introduce our new episode of Film Banter, episode 56. You make sure that you watch the whole thing from beginning to end! I'm tired of you idiots! Poking out and falling asleep and turning off and going away after the first 10 minutes or so. I've had it with you all! Now, next week, we will, of course, be doing our celebrated manifestation of evil! That's right, evil! I shall be here, the Lord of Darkness, the Creator of Hell, the Master of Hades, here, at your face, looking at you all! I can see each one of you. I know who you are. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you now. I'm coming for you.
People of Earth.
I wish I had a big bomb. So as
Would be
we
nice.
go, like, when we just
I think we could all use a nice big
Yeah,
bottle to pass
right,
back and forth.
exactly.
Oh, hi everybody, we're live.
Hello, Cinefreaks.
Welcome to episode 56 of Film Banter.
Oh, here we are.
Thank
one more
you
time.
for
Oh,
joining
so
us.
Good. That's
Yet
right.
another week.
That's right, friends. Hello, boys
Hello.
and girls and children of all ages.
Yes.
Yes, hello, people of Uranus. So wonderful to be here, isn't
Can
it,
you
Chris?
lower that volume a tad?
I can't at all.
Oh.
I don't. How's
I'm
that?
feeling rather deaf.
Wait, let me go. How's that? Is that better? No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
How about that one?
Oof.
Oh, that's better.
I don't know.
Now, how about this one? No.
No.
Is that better? Hello,
It's
how about
the
this
same.
one?
Nothing's changed.
All right. All right, so, anyway, it's so wonderful to be here.
It really
Certainly a thrill. You're such a lovely audience. We'd love to take you home with us. We'd love to take you home. Well, all right.
let us begin the begin, as I like to say.
Yes, you do. We have a nice roster of films this evening to cover. We have some new releases and a couple things that
I'd
are
also
on
like to point out one of our
streaming
new
platforms.
props.
He's very happy about this.
I stole this from Panera.
Oh, you're-
Panera bread.
You're outing yourself as a thief.
I am. I'm a thief.
You scoundrel.
I stole this little thing, and you put when you get your sandwich from the registorio or the
kiosk.
the guy at the front, the cashier.
Okay.
I was going to call him a baristerarian,
A
but he's
baristerarian?
not really. He's a Panera-risterian.
Panarian.
Or whatever the hell you'd like
He's
to
a
call him.
Panarian.
He's a Panarian. He's from Panair. He's from Panair.
Yes.
Which is an old airline that
Does he drink
actually used to be
Perrier?
owned by, he might drink Perrier.
Are you referring to Pan Am Airlines?
I was indeed,
Yes.
and I believe that I don't think he had anything to do with it. No, he was American Airlines. Was the
Who?
aviator himself, Mr. Double H.
You mean
Mr.
Howard Hawk? Howard Hughes?
Howard Hughes.
Yes.
Correctamundo, sir.
With the spruce goose?
With the spruce goose. You saw the spruce goose.
I did.
You know, that's when Kate. You know, her name is not Kate Blanchett. It's Blanchett.
Blanchett. Okay.
I saw her on a show.
Kate Blanchett.
And she was talking that my name is Kate Blanchett, not Blanchett.
I know, that's everybody
Like
says.
everybody says
Yeah.
that. So.
And she
All right,
likes to
my
have
friend.
meals in a luncheonette.
And there you go. And that's
I
why,
love bad jokes.
That's why we're such good co-hosts.
We are.
We enjoy each other's
We
jokes.
enjoy
Not
terrible-
for any
terrible
other
jokes.
reason. How come our picture's so big tonight? It's usually not quite that large.
That's what she said.
No, to you.
I don't
But
know why.
seriously, why is it not quite?
That's what the streaming platform does. I don't know why. That's what
but
they've
look
given
how
us
big it
tonight.
is. It looks big.
Yeah, well they've done it.
Usually it's a tiny little thing.
I know. I don't know what they did.
Look at that.
I'm happy with it.
Maybe that's why.
Some weeks it's different. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
don't
don't know
know
why.
why. But hello,
I don't know what to tell you, sir.
Cinefreaks, we're here.
But we're here. We're very happy to be here. We're going to start the show.
Well, let's not get carried away. I don't think we're that happy to be
I'm
here.
happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here, too.
I look forward to Tuesday
I
nights.
look forward to it, too, myself.
We have a nice dinner.
I have no life.
We discuss movies.
We have a nice life. We talk about the world. We talk about
cinema,
all the other things.
our lives.
Mr. Christopher here is betrothing to his betrothed.
Yes.
In early December.
At the end of the year, I am getting
So I guess that
hitched.
that week we won't be doing a show.
No, we can still do the
You're
show.
doing a honeymoon at all?
We're doing a honeymoon after the holidays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's going to be too hectic.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to
So
do it
after
Yeah, no, we're
the
going to do it
Christmas-
January, February.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
So
So
very good.
that's fine.
All right.
So we can
wonderful.
still do the show.
Good. I'm grateful.
And
Of
if
course,
not, you could have joined us.
I
on
could
our
have
honeymoon.
joined you on your
We
honeymoon.
could have done a show in the hotel room.
That would have been great.
Ba, 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 ba.
That would have been fun.
That would have been fun on location.
That would have been fun.
Yes. But let's begin. You want to begin?
I suppose we should.
You're going to do a film that's on Netflix.
I
You
am
can
going to
watch
do
it
a
on
film that's on
Netflix.
Netflix. It's called Wheelman.
Wheelman,
And
starring
it stars the illustrious and famed Mr. Frank Grillo.
a really great actor.
I really
him
like
a lot.
Frank. We saw Frank in The Purge.
The Purge.
Uh,
He was in the second and third film,
Correct.
and the film that
He was also in a film called, I believe, Money Crash or something.
The
Money,
Crash.
The Crash.
It was a kind
It
of
was about a Wall Street
an indie film about the crash
exactly.
of
It was
the
like a
stock
Wolf
market.
of Wall Street,
kind of
in a real
low budget
shitty
kind of way.
low budget
It wasn't
kind
great.
of way.
He was good, but the movie wasn't great.
Correctamundo.
And the film that I really started to take notice of him
Yeah.
was The Gray with Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
the
with
film
Liam, yeah.
when they're
he was in that?
Yeah, he played like the antagonist basically.
Oh, no kidding.
When their plane crashes in Alaska and they're fighting the wolf. pack.
Your knee is touching my knee. Not that I mind.
Be happy that it's only my knee.
Yeah, but I'm. Hey.
Oh, you know, there's so much you don't know about me.
I think you're right. I know. I think you're right. Well, you were talking about sausage earlier.
I was.
And I suppose, but well, all right.
I have a delicious sausage.
So he says modestly.
Yes. Continue your review, my friend.
Well, anyway,
We're
it's just
digressing.
called the. We are. It's called the Wheelman.
Yes.
I think it. I have a feeling that this film was put out in lieu of Baby Driver, which was basically the same thing. It's about a wheelman.
Getaway
it's about
driver.
the guy, the
Yeah.
getaway driver. There's a thing ensuing where people are robbing a bank.
Yes.
He's the guy, so he immediately takes off because he's told by a voice on the phone. This entire film is run by voices on the phone.
Okay.
And for that reason, I have to give this film kind of a negative bit there.
Okay.
It's as much as I like Frank Grillo.
Yes.
He's in every single scene of this film. It all takes place within his car. We have about 4 camera angles.
So
the
he
usual.
never gets out of the car.
Very much.
Which is
Remember
kinda
that
cool.
Tom Hardy
I was just
film?
gonna say like Lock.
I know.
Lock.
Is that the name of
yes,
it?
Lock.
That was a good movie.
You know, I really liked that film.
I liked it too.
Me too.
Because it really took you through the gamut of his whole life.
And
he had his wife, his job,
Yes.
and so forth.
And
And,
that's
there's Tom Hardy.
A master class of acting, that film.
Absolutely.
Great film.
And
Check out Lock with Tom Hardy. It's a couple years old. Really good.
Wondrous Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Just an amazing guy. If you never saw Bronson from 2008,
Gotta see
please
it.
check it
Gotta
out. One of the
see
best performances
Bronson.
on film.
Yes.
On celluloid.
He chews up the screen in that
He
movie.
does indeed, and he's just outrageously amazing. I
Yes.
mean, he just shows the limitless fearlessness
I agree.
of Tom Hardy
He's an amazing
in that
actor.
movie. He is an amazing
He's a
actor.
chameleon too.
He is
He's
a chameleon.
always different.
I have to say this, that since Bronson, I feel that he's been underused.
I agree with you.
Almost completely.
I
I don't
agree.
think there's one film that he's done that has even come close to the kind of
Virtuoso
episodic
performance.
intensity
Yeah.
of Bronson.
I'll
Bronson's
say,
a kick-ass
you know,
film.
recently we discussed on this show Legend, the film where he played the Cray twins.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Now, yes, that's not a great
Not a
film.
great film by
I
any
liked
means.
it, but he had a lot to do in that film. Played 2 parts, and I thought he did a very good job.
I thought the film was a
But other than-
direction mess. It was a directorial mess.
I mean,
Just
that
as
was,
a piece of entertainment, it really
I
wasn't.
don't know. I liked it.
We
I didn't
also
love it, but I liked it.
But
But I thought he was very
just
good. He had more to do in that movie than he does in a lot of other films.
Well, very true. Very true. It's really a
He's
shame.
still great. Well, no, another great film he did was Warrior. That was a great
Well,
film.
that is a great
That
film.
was a good
You know,
movie.
that just came out on 4K
Yeah,
today.
fantastic
A
film.
4K version of it.
If you haven't seen Warrior, it's a
Warrior's
UFC
pretty good.
movie with him and Joel Edgerton, with Nick Nolte
There you
as
go.
their father, the 2 brothers
that is
that
a
have to
great
fight
film.
in a ring.
They
It's
have
a
to
great
fight.
film.
It is a wonderful
It
film.
is an emotional movie that gets good, gets better and better and better, and it gets so
And
good,
then they
then
have
it
to
gets
fight
better.
each other, and then it really does
It's
go
an
right to the top.
amazing film.
I'll never forget. I was sitting here with my wife. This was back in 2012 or whenever.
Yeah, this is
was.
a 2010 film, I think.
2010 film.
Or
And
2011.
we sat and watched this film, and she was so overwhelmed with it.
Yeah.
I heard her on the phone the next day, she was telling everybody,
Yeah.
"Oh, we saw this movie. I loved it so much," and she really did. She
wonderful.
just loved it. It's just
It's a
great
little
piece
gem
of
that still
acting.
nobody knows about.
Very true, and it's just a great
Yeah.
fight film
It is.
more than anything.
It's
I mean, it's a
fantastic.
boxing film, but it's just is it a
And it's
boxing or it's a UFC?
UFC fight.
UFC,
And
yeah.
it's got heart. There's sadness.
There is.
Their father is Nick Nolte in this film, and he's a very
that's
tragic
sad
character.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks like he hasn't
Well,
aged
he
well.
looks like somebody spitting it grew. I mean, the man just looks decayed. You know, I'll
And
never
I
forget
love him.
Yeah,
I
but,
always liked Nick Nolte.
You know, he did a caricature of himself in a film called Down and Out in
Beverly
Beverly
Hills,
Hills.
yes.
He plays this homeless bum
Yeah.
who comes to the home of Richard Dreyfuss
Yes.
and I believe Bette Midler.
Yes.
Right? And he looked horrifying, and then he turned into that guy. Nick
Yeah, he
Nolte
did,
turned
yeah.
into that actual
So it's
horribly
foreshadowing.
looking character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did this. Then he had that famous mugshot.
when he got arrested
He
on the
got
Pacific Coast
arrested,
Highway, Connecticut,
whatever it was.
Connecticut,
yeah.
wherever
And he
it was.
looked just like
Yeah.
his character
Yeah.
Down and Out Beverly
His
Hills.
hair was like
and then we all
this.
thought, but he's still
Yeah, he's
dynamite.
great.
And
He's a
was
great
just, He
actor.
was just in something recently too that I
Well,
enjoyed.
no, movies
he always
and a TV
plays
show
a
now.
disturbed father. Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe he is. But he's
Yeah.
a great actor. He's he's Jeff Bridges, kind of in a different body form. They're almost the same
All he
kind
did was
of guy.
bark throughout the Thin Red Line. He was great in that too.
There you go.
Great
I
actor.
did love that film too.
I love him.
Oh my God, that's just Terrence
Yeah, Thin Red
Malick
Line is
at his best. It's just
I love that film.
Just a
Yeah.
great film, a great film.
Beautiful
But that
movie.
is what's his name's film? The tall guy with the he was in a show called
Are you talking about the actor? You mean
yes.
Jim Caviezel?
Jim Caviezel.
That was Jim
Oh,
Caviezel's
my
big
God.
break.
I'll tell you, Jim is awesome in
He's
that
great
film.
in that.
And he's almost there's almost like a crucifixion scene, as I recall.
You're thinking of Passion of the Christ, where he played Jesus.
Well, I guess there was a crucifixion scene in that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But wasn't there somewhat of a crucifixion scene where he's overtaken by natives in the Thin Red Line? Maybe not.
I don't remember.
I just remember him at the
Well,
end.
he does
and,
mingle with some natives, some Polynesians in that film, but I don't remember a crucifixion.
I'd like to mingle with some natives once
I'm
in a
sure
while.
you
You
would.
know, I really would too.
Some
Getting
indigenous
back
folk.
to the wheelman, pardon me.
I said some indigenous folk.
There you go. All right. Well,
I
very
love the
well.
word indigenous.
Do you? I don't know
do.
why.
It's a
don't
good
know
word.
why. It's a good word.
It's a
That's
fun word to use when you're describing
Indigenous.
somebody who really looks ethnic, and I don't mean that as an insult.
Well,
Just-
indigenous means. Do you know what indigenous means?
No, I know. Yeah, I know what indigenous is. A native.
What
somebody,
does it mean?
Indigenous is somebody who's very native to a certain area. You're the indigenous
Precise,
population.
precise.
But I like using that to describe somebody who really looks like for example, Aborigine people.
Yeah.
They really look indigenous.
Indigenous to
And, yeah.
the other Aborigines people
Exactly.
within the Australian
There's
outback.
no mistaking what
That's
they are,
right,
who
mate.
they are.
Out in the outback, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Where they
Like
go.
the bus driver from Speed always looks indigenous to me. The actor
indigenous to.
to some kind of
It means you are
Aboriginal
indigenous
folk.
to. Yeah, but indigenous means that it's linked
To a
the
place.
area.
I know.
to the
I use
place.
it in a broad sense sometimes
Obviously.
as a joke.
Well, you know, I could use a nice broad once in a while.
Who has some sense?
Who's been abroad lately?
Yes.
I
Anyway.
always remember Bette Midler's book. It was called A View from Abroad.
Yes.
What a great title for a book.
Yeah.
God bless your book, Bet.
Back to your review.
Back to the Wheelman. I didn't love this film. It's just there's some kidnappings that go on. He's kind of being blackmailed by the people. We want our money.
Always the same
It's
storylines.
the same
You notice
shtick
that?
over and over. It had a very mafioso kind of dialogue. Everybody talked like they were from
Yeah.
Goodfellas outtakes and so forth. So I gotta say no on this film. It's a very short film. It's only an hour and 22 minutes long. So in essence, it's it's an easy night. It's on Netflix, so you can check it out. The only reason to check it out is Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
Without Frank in this movie,
It's
they
worthless.
probably. But of course, if they had Al Pacino doing the same role,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
might have been a better
I'd
film.
like to
Who
see
knows?
Al Pacino driving a car
I'd like
for
to
2 hours.
see. I'd like to see Christina Applegate driving a car like she does.
I don't know if I'd buy her as a getaway driver though.
I don't know. She probably would be pretty good. I'm very impressed with Christina lately. She was in Bad Mom.
Yes,
she's
she's good.
in a film I'm about to review tonight called Crash Pad. But that's later on, so let's move right along now.
All right,
our
I'm
next
going to
film
do
is the Florida Project.
Florida Project, which
Look at this.
they
thing.
can't see the
It's
white
like
on
a
screen.
stand.
He's so happy about his
Look
stand.
at that stand. And you get this at Panera Bread, and you put your little ticket here that
Yes.
has the number 5, and that shows them, oh, we're
You're
going
not
to
really
bring
supposed to have
our
one with you
food.
at your
no,
home.
No, not at all. I'm trying to put it over there on the white, but that white doesn't exist
They're
for
not
the
gonna see it.
people at home. So very well,
Thank you for
go
trying.
ahead. You should really put these in bigger letters, though.
Yeah, but I'm afraid I'm going to run out of space on the paper. You give me
Yeah,
such
but
a
you could just do it darker.
Well, then you got to give me a darker marker, or I got to color it in.
Daka Maka, right? Okay. All right,
It's
go
okay.
ahead.
Anyway,
You know, it's hot in here today.
it's warm, isn't it?
It is
Why
really
is it
warm, man.
warm?
I could go put the air on
Can you
because
do
it's
that?
so fucking humid outside.
Yeah, why don't
That's
you put the
why.
air on?
I could put the air on.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's do it.
Air break.
All right, let's put the air on. It is really.
But I'm going to start my review anyway because we are doing a show here.
We are indeed. Go ahead.
So, the Florida Project, for those of you that may not know what it is, which I imagine a lot of people don't because it's a fairly small movie in terms of release, I'm hoping it's going to get a wide release because I really enjoyed this film. I think it's going to be one of those movies that you're going to be hearing a lot about come award season because it's got a lot of the ingredients the Academy seems to like. I can see an Indie Spirit Award nomination.
What's this film about?
Well, I'm going to get to that. So the Florida Project, what this movie is really about, and what it references specifically, is Disney World. Disney World, when it was in development, before it was anything,
Oh, okay.
Disney Corporation
Okay, all right.
called this the entity of building a park in Florida.
And they called it the Florida Project.
That was the Florida Project.
All right.
While it was in development. And so the way it translates to the storyline of this film is, once Disney World was born,
Yes.
the all surrounding neighborhoods of Orlando obviously expanded around it to offer all these different amenities for tourists.
So in other words,
hotels,
you really
motels.
So you really saw Orlando bloom.
Yes, you did. That was good. So yeah, so this film is about all the little motels and souvenir shops.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And niche restaurants and all this kind of
Niche.
niche restaurants.
Niche. You mean where they serve quiche?
No, niche, N-I-C-H-E.
Oh, like it has its own niche.
Yes, like small
Like a
group
little
of people
niche.
that like it.
Like
And
they're
they have souvenir
indigenous-
shops.
They're indigenous to the.
Yes, all that stuff.
Okay.
So this film primarily focuses on one particular hotel. I forget the name. It's like something. Oh, it's called the Magic Castle, and it's a purple motel that's fashioned a little bit to kind of emulate the Magic Kingdom in Disney World.
I see.
And most of the people that are there are residents. They're not just tourists staying there. Some are, but this motel is primarily occupied by people that live there all year round and just pay a weekly rent.
Uh-huh.
And so we specifically focus on a group of children who are, running around rampant in this place. They don't really have the best
Who's
parents.
in this film? Somebody famous is
Yes,
in this
well,
film.
the main actor in this film is Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
And he's wonderful in this film. I could see a Best Supporting Actor nomination for him.
Oh, really?
Possibly.
Who's our best? Who's the actor in the film?
There is-
Actress.
Well, there really isn't anybody known. There's a
Okay.
young girl, 6-year-old. Excellent actress. She's the main character.
Okay.
She's a 6-year-old. Her name is, I believe, Brooklyn Prince. Very cute, very good in this movie. She's got a lot of spunk to her.
Is she Michael Jackson's daughter? Or?
She's no relation to
Okay.
that Prince, no. And so she and a couple other of her friends run around and explore the neighborhoods, and mostly they're getting into trouble throughout the whole film. And a lot of the movie focuses on the very patient Willem Dafoe, who is the manager of this
boy.
motel, constantly like, hey guys, don't do this, or he's watching out for them. Like there's
This
this.
doesn't sound like anything I'd even be
No,
remotely
honestly,
interested.
no, I disagree. I really see you being moved by this movie.
Really?
It's really wonderful.
Can
It's
I do something that I'd really like
No,
to do?
you're not going to take my hat off because you love
No,
doing
I was
that.
going to take. I just got to do
No,
this.
don't
I was going
touch-
to pull it down over your eyes.
There's no reason to do
Yeah.
that. I like my hat.
I want you to make
No,
America.
on days that I don't feel like doing anything with my hair, I wear a hat.
Oh, I see.
It's easier for me.
Oh, he doesn't want to do anything
Um,
with his hair.
so
He
anyway,
forgot his curlers today.
This film is, in a way, it's tragic because you see these young kids who are really, they don't live in the best environment. They have almost absentee parents.
So, in other words, this should actually have been called the Florida Projects.
Project. In a way, you could see it that way too.
Yeah.
And the girl's mother is an actress who, this is her first film according to IMDb, and her name is Bria Vinate, and she is
God bless
excellent. She's playing this.
Bria Vinate.
Yes, she plays this, for lack of a better term, a real white trash mother.
Ah.
This woman, if you look up white trash in Wikipedia, you'll see her picture. But there's a sexiness to her character, but she's a dangerous person in terms of like, you are not an ideal parent. And this
See,
film
and
explores that.
Ariana Grande, she
about
feels like a dangerous woman.
Is that the name of an album?
One of her
Okay,
big hits.
got it.
Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
actually a great song.
I really, really implore people to check out the
You
Florida.
implore them?
I do because it's.
You demand them to see
I
it.
really do because it's a very nice movie.
Is it fun for the whole family?
No, it's not really for fun for the whole family. But people.
Is it rated like
It's
PG?
rated R for language.
Oh, really?
For language and adult content.
Isn't that amazing how little kids are now in these R-rated films all the time?
They are, and the kids aren't necessarily the ones saying the swearing, but there is a lot of swearing in this film.
Around the kids?
Around the kids,
Probably
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
very
mean, there
common
might be
now.
1 or 2 swears the kids say.
Okay.
But it's just a real story about these precocious. Are you happy now?
Yes.
You got your rocks off by doing that? So there are a bunch of precocious kids that are always getting into trouble.
I see.
And it's
Speaking
just a lot
of
of fun.
Stranger Things 2
Starts Friday.
starts this Friday.
This Friday.
I also saw the review. Oh, I just moved all. Look, we're jiggling. Look, it's an earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Don't do that.
But yeah, I just got a review. I just read the review of
Don't
Variety.
tell me anything, but it looks
Well,
good.
no. I can tell you. They said that the first couple episodes are very slow and they're really
Yeah.
nothing. But then when it kicks in,
Well,
it goes.
that's most shows these days.
Well,
in
true.
general, remember Game
They're
of
just
Thrones this
setting
season,
up-
the first
yeah, they're
episode or
just
two,
setting up
you
the-
were bemoaning
they're
how boring
setting
it
up-
was.
Was I bemoaning?
You were like, oh, these first 2 episodes, nothing's
I
happening.
like the bemoan.
and
if
then
you
it
know
kicked into high gear, and you're just like, I gotta catch my breath.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I really
Well, I
love
did
the
love
Florida
it,
Project. It's definitely one of the better films I've seen all year round. I think it's
Really?
excellent.
Okay.
All year, not all year round.
All
It's-
year?
yeah, I really think it's an excellent film. I think it's
Okay.
definitely a highlight. But I got to give you caution. It can be very sad at times, just because you some of the things that happen in the film. Nobody dies, but I
nobody
mean,
dies?
no, it's not a death movie, but it's just kind of tragic in ways. But I
I'm
think
sorry.
the thing that's poignant
Were
about
you
this,
sad watching it?
not really, but the thing that
Why?
about
Because you're cold and heartless.
exactly.
Oh, I see. You're dead inside.
I am. The
Like
thing
me,
about
I'm
this,
dead inside.
you are. The thing about this film that
What do
I
you mean
think
I
is
are?
very, is very. Let me finish my thought.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing about this film that's very poignant is that I think this film will unfortunately ring true for a lot of families all over the country.
But not necessarily in a good way.
no,
they'll see
because
themselves,
I think a lot of people live in this kind of environment.
They'll see themselves
Yes.
within these sordid, flat,
Yeah,
white,
whether you're living in a
characters.
whether you're living in a motel, you're living in a project in Harlem, you're living in a poor community of Alabama,
Yeah.
you're living in a bad area of Los Angeles, whatever the case may be.
The indigenous urbanites.
Yes, there
They
are
will
people
be
that are
partial
going to
this film.
unfortunately
They're probably
relate
not
to this story.
They're not going to see this as fiction, are they?
No,
This is going to be.
no.
like
I think this
the
is an
real deal
accurate
for them.
depiction of a lot of America,
Okay.
especially in the wake of the huge, rampant income inequality that we're
Yeah.
seeing today.
Okay.
But anyway, I highly recommend the Florida Project.
All right.
And now I'd like to move on to a film called Lady Macbeth, which you've just saw.
Lady Macbeth,
which
I
I
did.
reviewed a couple months ago.
You did indeed. Lady Macbeth is available, I believe, on Amazon.
It is on Amazon.
Everything
streaming.
pretty much is on Amazon these
These
days.
days.
This is a pretty good little UK film.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with Macbeth except
doesn't.
that the title character is she's a cold-hearted creature.
Manipulative person.
Manipulative person who we find out throughout the course of this film.
Yes.
It starts out that she's, I really like this movie though. I really did. It had a very eerie, kind of almost
Yeah.
a creepy
Yeah,
quietness
no, there
about
is.
it.
And she.
There was a violent, not a violent, but there was a creepy evil to
There
it.
is, 'cause-
It was an evil. The characters in this film. She
They're
basically
all pretty
plays
much
a,
despicable.
She's a subservient wife.
And let's
She's
just say
been-
her name, the actress, is Florence Pugh. P-U-G-H. She's very good.
What's
yeah.
her name again?
Florence
Oh,
Pugh.
Jesus Christ.
Pugh.
But
I guess it's Pugh. Pugh.
Okay.
How do you say G-H? Ghost?
well,
Or-
if her name was like Hugh, you would say Hugh.
Hugh.
So I'm
So
thinking
it's
if her
Pugh.
name is P-U-G-H,
So we're gonna say
it
her name
might
is
be
Pugh.
But then again, it could be Pug.
It could be
It
Pug.
could be Pooh. It could be
It's not
Winnie the
Pooh.
Pug. But
Regardless, she's
of
very
what
good
it
in this
is,
role.
She is very good in this role, but she's kind of a subservient wife. She's
Yes.
basically been bought
Yes,
by,
by this
her
older man.
plantation
Yeah,
owner.
yeah.
He's basically purchased her.
Yes.
He also owns slaves on
Yes.
this plantation who work for him.
This is probably 1800s.
This is late 1800s.
Rural England.
Late
Very
1800s,
rural
way
England.
way after the Civil War kind
Yeah.
of thing took place in this country.
Yeah.
But she then just begins to take matters into her own hands after she falls in love with a stable boy,
Correct.
played by a specific stable boy
Yes.
who's in this film. But the movie just travels in a very evil direction,
And it's a slow
she-
burn.
It is a slow
Yeah.
burn. It never really kicks into a high, amplified, robust world of action pack. If you're looking for action pack,
Yeah.
don't go to this movie.
No, it's not
But
action.
this
go.
is just a slow,
It's a dark
and
film.
It's a dark movie. It's an hour and a half long.
There's that one thing that happens that I was pretty shocked.
Really?
There's one thing that is done in this film that is pretty shocking, in terms of. You don't know what I'm talking about? There's a certain person in this film that unfortunately evaporates. That is pretty shocking.
Evaporates?
Yeah, somebody dies in this film. It's pretty shocking, I would say. Wouldn't you say?
Well, I wouldn't say it's shocking.
Well, you don't expect somebody to do the things that were done. You know, it just shows how dark a character is.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, that was a moment that I didn't expect to happen.
You're talking about with a younger person, perhaps?
Well, I don't want to give anything away.
But that's what you're talking about.
I am referencing that.
Okay. Well, for me, the worst part is where
the horse, right?
She kills a horse.
But she does it out of mercy.
Oh my God!
Doesn't she?
No,
I don't remember the horse death that
No,
much.
she does it because, well, she proceeds to like Macbeth. In fact, just proceeds to kill everyone to kind of move up the ladder of
within the hierarchy of his home.
Anything is a go.
Yeah.
Anything to perpetrate my perpetual motion
Yes.
forward to accomplish the goals that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll turn on you on the, this is Donald Trump deluxe. She'll turn on you at a spin of a dime for, just to further her
But she's
own,
a lot more calculated than I think he would ever be.
well, that's certainly true.
She's
He's
got a
not
lot
very
more going
calculated.
on in her
No,
brain than
this
he
man
does.
shoots from the hip. He has no clue what he's doing. So, but regardless of that, I really like this film a lot. It's,
Yeah.
as you say, it's a slow burn.
I recommend it too.
That's a very fine analogy. That's also a great song by Peter Gabriel, by the way, off his very first solo album called Slow Burn. I love that song. But, all right, so there we go. So let us move on now to you, having seen this very film today. Did you see it in 3D, by the way?
No.
GEOSTORM?
No interest in 3D.
No interest at all?
No, I don't
good for
need
you.
it.
You're not a
I don't
3D guy.
I don't need it. It's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary addition to a film. Except it does work. It did work wonderfully in Avatar, and I will go see the new ones
There you go.
in 3D.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm really not interested in 3D because I don't think it's necessary.
I'll tell you something. Guardians of the Galaxy, the very first one in 3D, is spectacular. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I really do enjoy it. But
Now-
I will say this. This was a total washout. Blade Runner 2049, I saw in 3D.
Okay.
Absolutely no reason whatsoever to see it in 3D. All it was, you know
It's
what
just
3D
marketing.
does? It darkens the film.
Yeah, I know.
When you're watching with 3D glasses, everything is darker. So, and I would, remove the glasses and go, well, what's really happening
Yeah.
there? And you'll see like a little blur around.
See,
little
what they're
Ryan
working
Gosling
on,
there.
they're working on technology. Well, apparently the new avatars, from what I read, the new technology that he's using for these
You don't
movies,
need glasses.
you're not going to need glasses. That's pretty incredible.
Well-
That's pretty amazing.
Well, then they have to do something with the screen.
Well, there's going to
itself.
have to be either a screen upgrade
yeah,
or a
absolutely.
projector upgrade, something.
No,
But-
it can't be a projector up. Well,
maybe I
3
don't know.
projectors.
Could
or
be
something.
something. But he was saying you're not going to need glasses.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
I hope I'm not misquoting,
I
but
don't
I'm pretty
know.
sure that's what I read.
I think you're probably misquoted.
No, I don't think so.
I think
I read that.
I think you will.
I'm pretty sure I read that.
Maybe you're not.
Anyway, I went to see GeoStorm in the
Well,
theater.
tell us about GeoStorm.
You know, GeoStorm is exactly what you've seen in the trailer.
I haven't seen the trailer.
It's a disaster deluxe film. It takes all the elements of all the disaster films you've seen, puts them all together in one storyline.
You know, the hairs on your arm just touched my chin.
How'd you feel about it?
It tickled.
Did it tickle you?
It tickled a
Nice.
little. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so in the film, it stars Gerard Butler, who seems to be...
I always liked Gerard.
Yeah, I like it too. He's always
Yeah,
Gerard
he's always
Butler,
in,
but he's good.
He is.
I like Gerard.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a capable leading man.
London Falling, Washington Falling.
The Olympus is falling.
300.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
he's a good actor. I like
He
him.
is a good actor.
So in this film, it's very simple. In the future, not too distant future,
I heard he and Clive Owen were in the same room once together,
Yes.
and nobody could tell them apart.
I mean, I'm sure they get confused with each other all the time.
I bet they do.
Yeah. So the storyline of this film is pretty simple. In the near future, to battle the severe weather we've been having due to climate change,
To your health, my friend.
we have developed as a world this big net of satellites in the sky
Right, that can control the weather.
Yes, in space they can
To
control
save
the
the
weather.
Earth.
Yeah. And it's all controlled by the International Space Station.
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much have gotten rid of natural disasters. And so what we learned fairly soon is, somebody has sabotaged this system, and now we're heading towards a geostorm when the entire planet is going to be inundated with all different kinds of natural disasters at once if it's not stopped.
I heard that Donald Trump denied that this movie exists.
It could be.
Yeah, I heard he denied that completely.
Could
He
very well
denies
be.
that this film is even out there.
Yeah, he denies.
It's not even there. You can't even go to the theater to see this film.
It wouldn't be surprising to me if
Yeah,
he said
because
that.
it means that the weather is in fact
I know.
having a detrimental effect
Effect
on
on
our
society,
planet.
exactly.
etc.
Even though he was quoted many years ago talking about how serious climate change was.
Yeah,
whatever.
well.
So GeoStorm. It's as we've said on this show many times before. It's a leave your brain at the door action movie.
Have we said that?
We've said that many times.
I don't recall saying that.
It's not anything great. It's not groundbreaking. But
That's why I didn't go see it.
yeah, but you know what though? You go to see it for the special effects, for kind of the fun scenes.
But that's not why you went.
I went because I wanted to see the scenes.
you did?
I like disaster movies. I wanted to see those
Oh,
sequences.
I did not realize that. I thought that you went because you're such a diehard. You're so devoted to this show.
Well, no, that's why I went to see something this week, and this was the movie I chose to go see.
But
I
saw
wanted to see this.
the Florida Project too.
I saw that on Sunday. Yeah, that's the movie I really wanted to
films
see.
do you need to go see?
In the theater, I try to see at least one a week.
I do too.
For the show.
But this particular week, I saw none.
But my goal is
I
to
saw
always
none.
watch 5 movies every week in general.
Well, of course, I see
Well,
8
you
or 9.
Well,
or-
you have more time, like I said.
obviously.
But anyway, can I recommend GeoStorm?
Can you
Not to pay full price. If you
No.
like, I went for a matinee. I paid $5. That's fine.
really? You paid $5?
Well, AMC Stubs members get the discount.
Where'd you go?
Garden State Plaza.
Garden State Park?
But I will say this.
Wasn't it $7 then?
Depends. No, depends what show you go
I don't
to.
think it was.
For me, it was $5.
Was it $5?
Yeah, for this show.
maybe they
no,
thought you
remember, no, it depends what screen you go to. If you're going to see
Were you
it-
wearing that hat?
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, no. If you
They
go
thought
to
you were white trash.
They did. No, if you go to Dolby Cinema Theater, that's more expensive. Then you're not going to save as much. If you go to the
This is true.
traditional, regular digital presentation, then you get your $5 discount. Anyway, we're
There
rambling.
you go.
But I do want to say this. I did have a snack in the theater that I'm going to review real quick. AMC Theaters has these pretzel bites, the little nubs.
I know.
They suck.
They don't suck.
They're terrible.
Oh, bullshit.
And you dip it in this really
Wait a
nasty,
minute.
this gross cheese sauce.
I love that.
My
dish.
little nubs were sweaty. I didn't like them at all.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the pretzels.
Ba-dum-bum.
Hey.
I didn't care for this
No,
snack
you're
at all.
wrong, buddy.
No, I didn't
No,
care for
I've
it.
had that snack a
Didn't
dozen
like it.
times.
Maybe I had a bad order.
No,
I didn't
maybe
like
you
it.
did, man.
I didn't like the cheese sauce at
I'll
all.
tell you this. Well, the cheese sauce, I like it.
It's
I
got
like
a little.
the
It's
cheese.
not the same they usually give with the nachos.
No. It's a little spicy.
Yeah, I don't
but it's
like
not
it. I didn't
that
like
good.
it. I
But
didn't
the
like it.
pretzel bites themselves are spectacular.
Mine were very.
Oh, I love
They
those
were very
pretzel
wet
bites.
and sticky. I don't know why.
Oh.
Did I get some extra sauce that I,
I
didn't
think
ask
somebody
for?
may have given a little
think they did.
bit of himself to your.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't care for the pretzel nubs.
Well, I'm
But
very
anyway,
sorry to hear that.
GeoStorm.
Kind of sucked.
It's not great. It's
Yeah.
not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's exactly what you expect.
What is
it
the
to
worst
be.
movie you've ever seen?
Ever?
Yeah.
Still, that stands out. Well, there's a couple, but I would say the most unwatchable movie is the Garbage Pail Kids. The movie. It's
Really?
so obnoxious. It's unpleasant. And it makes you angry because it's
Garbage
so
Pail
obnoxious.
Kids.
It's a movie that came out in the mid '80s for kids,
Yeah.
based on the trading cards.
Yeah, but it was for kids,
Yeah,
obviously.
but-
so you
but-
can't really judge that. I'd rather you
No,
judge
no, 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 no,
an adult film.
No, because when I was a kid, I
And I
thought
don't
this
mean
was
a-
a good movie.
Oh, okay.
When I was a kid, I liked it. And then I watched it again with my friends back like 10 years ago. And it just
wasn't
made
meant
us
for
angry.
you.
No, but even... I know it's not meant for us, but I still can watch movies that are aimed for kids. Movies that I watched as a kid and still really enjoy. Like, I still love Follow That Bird. It's the Sesame Street movie from like '86.
Oh,
and I still can
geez.
watch that and get joy out of it, even though it's a kid's movie.
You know, when I was
This
a kid,
movie
I couldn't watch
has
kids' movies.
nothing good about it.
Oh.
The Garbage Pail Kids movie is so annoying and so obnoxious to look at.
But a
you
movie
will hate
called
yourself.
The Garbage Pail Kids, it's kind of telling you right up front
Yeah, but
what kind of movie it is.
it's so bad. It's so bad.
I can't really accept that as the worst film you've ever
then,
seen.
well, then, no.
I
Then
wanna
there's a
see
movie.
film that
well, then if I want to
that's
talk about an
geared
adult
towards-
film,
Okay.
meaning a film geared towards people
Yeah,
that
not
are
a
adults.
pornography,
No,
but
I've
an
mentioned
adult
this
film.
movie on the show before too. Taste of Cherry, unwatchable. It's a movie that some reason critics loved in the '90s.
Taste of Cherry.
It's unwatchable. The whole movie is a guy driving around a sand dune in the Middle East in a car wanting to kill himself. That's the whole movie.
Oh, boy.
It's so laborious.
Oh, there you go.
It's a movie they make you watch in film class in college, and you just want to poke your eyes out while watching it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then there's a big reveal at the end that is really terrible.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's move on to a movie called Ride.
Yes, let's do Ride.
R-Y-D-E.
RYDE. And this is a very good film for people to see because we live in an age now of Lyft and Uber and
Yes.
so forth. So this is a beautifully shot film. It is just every shot is a Technicolor wonderworld.
Nice.
This was a lot of work done in just the very composition artistically
Yes.
of this kind of movie.
Do tell.
It is basically about a guy who is a. This movie has outbursts of violence that are so horrifying and so
Is
some
this a horror
upsetting-
film, or
yes.
okay? It is.
It's not really a horror film. It's not scary to scare you
No.
because of mystical, supernatural escapades, etc., like most horror films
I understand,
are,
yeah.
where a supernatural beast or horror creation is now trying to wipe out that cabin
I
full
know
of
what you
kids.
mean.
That is not the case with this film. This is just about a man who is he almost has a Chris Pine kind of face to him, and he gets into the back of a car of a Uber driver, basically. And in this case, the name of the film called Ride, RYDE.
So that's the app that people
That's
use
the
in
app,
the movie.
That's the company.
But we know what they mean.
Prepaid. People just get into this car.
That's cool.
And the real underline in red parentheses about this kind of a thing that we accept most readily in our lives to get into these cars with people that we don't know is that anything could happen.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this movie is about. How this man he kind of decides who he's going to, like he gets 3 girls in the car who there's a kind of a seduction thing going on there with him specifically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of murder in this movie,
Okay.
and a lot of harsh, calculating murder. It's very, very upsetting. There are characters. I don't want to even give it away. I want you to enjoy.
It sounds really interesting.
I want you to enjoy this experience on your own. This film is going to be going home with you this evening.
Yes. Well, no, it's on Amazon. I can watch it.
It is
Yeah, I
indeed
can watch
on
it.
Amazon,
It's fine.
but there you go. So, but I'm giving you my Amazonian. I
Well,
was
yeah,
able
I appreciate
to
that,
get it
yeah.
from Amazon, so it's now
Thank
mine.
you.
So
I
I'm going
appreciate
to
that.
let you watch it.
Well, you're
So,
a good man like that.
Exactly. This is a 2017 film, and it's really it's upsetting. And I sat there very often just. You think that he's going to. There's a woman at the very beginning who he's at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
She's seducing him. He's seducing her, and violence ensues. And we're seeing this more and more in these kind of films, where The Babysitter, for example,
yes.
where the film is going to take a specific trajectory, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it switches into this ultra violence, and Viddy well, little brothers, viddy well, as Malcolm McDowell said in Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
Because suddenly it just takes on a bit of the old ultra-violence, And it really is, it's upsetting, and it's hard to watch. And yet at the same time, I could not take my eyes off of it, like a very bad car accident. And when you're sitting in traffic and there's, you're backed up for miles, and then you say, oh, it's just some idiot cop pulled over, and and then you get up there, and what do? You stop and take a look.
Of course.
And that particular 5 seconds of you taking a look is what's slowing all the people behind you. Everyone's doing the precise same thing.
I know.
And I'm just giving a little bit of an analogy to this kind of a movie
understand.
because it really is it's an upsetting film, no question. And I wholeheartedly recommend it, though.
Cool.
It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully acted. It takes you on a ride, so to speak. And by the end of the film, you are. Unfortunately, the ending does turn into a little bit of a horror kind of a. Could there
Fairly
be a
formulaic
a
ending?
little? I wouldn't say formulaic, but it was very well done. I wholeheartedly recommend this film, and it is a horror. It is a horrifying film to watch, but not necessarily a horror film.
Okay.
With that, we're going to move right on now to you.
Yes.
With Brawl in Cell Block.
Brawl
99.
in Cell Block 99 is
Vince Vaughn
right now.
Shaved his head for this.
Yeah,
film.
I mean you can watch this film. It's on Amazon as well.
Very well.
So. Yes, this film stars Vince Vaughn in a departure from what he usually does. But, he's been trying
in
True
True Detective.
Detective. But, he tries to leave the comedy genre.
Yeah.
Because, as an actor, I understand you don't want to be pigeonholed. So, and in my opinion, he does a really good job in this film.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. And
he
so
doesn't get the roles that he
he
probably
doesn't,
deserves
but he's
anymore.
starting to get some more dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brawl in Cell Block 99 is... it's a rough movie. It's an intense film. And in the film, he's got
a prison movie.
Yeah, he's got a shaved head. On the back of his head, he's got a big cross tattoo. He's a Southern guy, although the film takes place in New York State. He's a Southerner. He's very imposing because he's a tall guy. He's about 6'5".
I know,
and
he's
he
a big
bulked
guy.
up for this movie.
Did he?
So he's an
Okay.
imposing force in this movie.
Right.
He's a guy with a somewhat of a short fuse at times. We see a great scene right away.
You could probably relate to this guy.
I could, yes. In this film, right away, we see him. He gets home and he has an issue that he's annoyed about, and he just starts getting intense.
Okay.
It's really a cool scene.
So what is this? It's a prison movie?
It's a
heist
prison
movie?
drama.
Is it
No, not a
violent?
heist movie. Well, in an aspect, it's a heist movie. So, long story short, in the film, Jennifer Carpenter plays his wife,
Okay.
who is known from Dexter and a bunch of other things.
All right.
And so, to make ends meet, because they're trying to have a family,
Well, they have to make ends meet to have a family.
Bum, yeah. In the first scene or whatever, you see he loses his job. So, unfortunately, to make ends meet, he regresses and gets back into the world of drugs. And he becomes
Goes to prison.
Well, eventually...
Does he go to prison?
He does. Because of getting back into drugs, that always ends up backfiring on you, as you know.
No, not always.
Well, most of the time. In the movies,
Some
it
people
does.
I know do drugs and just
I know, but
enjoy
I'm-
those drugs.
No, but I'm talking about in movies, when people get into a life
when
of
you
crime...
said, you said, yeah, but I'm da-da-da. I thought you were going to go, but I'm dumb.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
So in this film, eventually, because of some things that occur, and there are other criminals involved that feel slighted by certain choices that he made, he goes to prison. He doesn't want to talk, so he does his time like a man, kind of a thing, right?
Oh, okay.
So while he's in prison, the main thread then, he has to go to another prison. He goes to a maximum security prison.
Oh, boy.
Where in cell block 99...
And they just read Maxim magazine.
They do. That's all they do. He has to kill somebody in that prison.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise, his wife is going to be killed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
we just saw that with the guy from that film that you like so much, with the guy from Game of Thrones. He was in prison. He had 55.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
You're talking about
yeah.
you're talking about a shot caller.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that
Okay.
film. So anyway, so this film then proceeds to follow him as he's trying to get in to that part of the prison, which is a secluded area of the prison where
I
they
see.
almost torture the people.
Really?
The sadistic warden of that prison is played by Don Johnson, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I really enjoyed
what we
this.
got here
Is
is
a
a
failure
failure
to communicate.
Who said that line?
I don't remember the actor's name. I know it was in Treasure Sierra Madre, but I don't remember.
No.
Oh,
Treasure Sierra Madre.
I'm sorry, African Queen?
No.
What movie was that line
It was
in?
in Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, that's right, Cool
And
Hand
it was
Luke.
said by
I'm
Strother
sorry.
Martin.
That's right, I'm sorry.
Strother Martin also was
And
in
I
the...
saw Cool Hand Luke. I forgot.
And
For some reason.
Strother was a
I
great
apologize.
actor. He played Dillinger, and he played, and he was also, no, he wasn't in Dillinger. That was, who was the guy who played Dillinger? That was another actor. But anyway, regardless,
Anyway.
Strother Martin was in the Wild Bunch,
Got it.
Sam Peckinpah film. But go ahead.
So anyway, this film at times is extremely brutal. There are some
Oh,
really good fight
Is
scenes.
it an intense movie?
It's
though?
intense. No, it's intense. There are some downtime.
Okay.
But the movie gets really intense. When it's intense, it's intense.
Oh, good.
And there are some great deaths in this movie.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's violent.
I will check
You'll
it
like
out.
it. It's a really good
I'll
film.
be reviewing this
I
film
really
next
like
week,
it.
kiddies.
Yes, and this film was directed by a guy named S. Craig Zoller.
S. Craig?
S. Craig Zoller is his name.
Okay.
And he directed another film that I'm going to discuss in a few minutes called Bone Tomahawk
No.
as well. Yes.
I love Bone Tomahawk.
Yes. So anyway, Brawl in Cell Block 99. I really recommend it. You can watch it on Amazon. And really, watch Vince Vaughn in a role like you've never seen him before.
Oh,
and I
very
think
good.
he's excellent in it.
You know, I've always
a very
liked
good
him.
film.
I've always liked Vince.
No, it's a really good
absolutely.
movie.
I loved him in those John Favreau films.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
He's-
those.
He's
they,
a fun
they
actor.
made a couple films
I've
together.
always liked him.
What were they called?
Well,
Pals or buddies?
Swingers.
Swingers.
Then they did a movie called Made.
Yeah,
and
there
they
you
did.
go.
I know they've done a couple. And
Yeah, they're good
Vince
buddies.
Vaughn was in all of those Will Ferrell movies too.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Anchorman and
Correct.
he was in a couple of those.
No, he's good.
He's a
I
good actor.
can't fault Vince.
No.
You know, I think he's been under.
Utilized.
I don't think he's been underutilized. I don't think he's really been. For me, his big film, believe it or not, was Wedding Crashers with Owen.
That was a
Wilson.
big one for him.
I
yeah.
like that film, and it was kind of a breakout performance for him because
Yeah.
he suddenly was in the public eye more so than ever before.
Well, Old
And
School
as
is
a
what really
comic
catapulted
actor-
him.
Well,
and
that's
then
true.
Wedding Crashers is
Yeah,
a
but
lead.
Wedding Crasher, that was the biggie. That was a
Yeah.
big hit.
Yeah, it was.
That was a big box office
Yeah.
movie. And he was great. But you know something? I've never found him to be a super engaging actor. And I think True Detective, I remember in True Detective that Colin Farrell, the recent
second
the
season.
second season of True
Yes.
Detective, which was just god awful in my
You
humble
know, it
opinion.
wasn't great.
Well, it wasn't because the first one with Woody
so
and Matthew
good, yeah.
was so good.
Yeah.
What? You know, okay.
Well, that's why.
I mean,
in
you
the
know,
past,
that was a great
when you and I
show.
discussed this
that
show
was a great
before,
serial killer.
no,
film.
it was perfect.
This was hard.
But I was saying to you back in the day that after we saw second season,
Yeah.
I was saying that if there wasn't a True Detective season 1 and all we got was a second season, we might have
would've
been
liked
more
it a little
forgiving.
better. Yeah,
Yes.
very true. Very
But I
true.
thought Vince was very good in that
I thought
show.
Vince was good too. He played a bad guy. He was a
Yeah.
drug guy.
He's a heavy, you know.
He was a heavy. He was, and indeed. But you know something? He's never been that engaging for me.
He's very low key.
He
in
is
a
a
way.
low key. He just kind of, and not the low key from the Thor movies. That's
Not-
Loki.
That's Loki. Yes.
That's Loki. But,
Tom Hiddleston.
That's Tom Hiddleston. Which of course the Thor film is coming out in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
actually looking forward to
I'll
it.
see it. No, it looks good.
It's it's got a very comic.
I
essence
actually have
to
to
it.
see the second one. I didn't see it yet.
Oh really?
The Dark
I don't
World.
think it's going to matter one bit. Believe me.
Well, no, but I
These
like to
films,
see it.
they're all kind of
Well, you know that this
interchangeable.
movie-
You know, I can't even remember. I don't even
I know,
remember the
but,
plot
yeah.
of the first and
But
the
you know
second
what,
either.
You know
They're
what's
all
interesting about
bullshit.
this Thor movie? This one takes place during the events of the last Captain America Civil War movie.
Oh,
This
brother.
explains
Like anybody
why.
gives a
Well,
shit,
no, but this explains why Hulk and Thor were not there to fight.
Oh well, that's a big question on my mind.
No, but I mean,
where
it's,
was Hulk and Thor?
It's there for the shared
You know,
universe.
who gives a god
But
bloody
I'm just
damn?
saying that's the timeline. But I'm excited that Jeff Goldblum's in the movie.
Well, not me.
Why?
Yeah, man, he always looks like the Fly to me. He's just a thin, gawky.
So the guy played.
praying mantis essence.
You
but I
mean
do
is
like,
it because you can identify his physique?
Oh, probably
That's
so.
probably why.
Probably so. No, I do like Jeff.
I like
loved
Jeff.
him in The Fly, to be quite honest.
He's a
with you.
fantastic actor.
He's a great actor. He's very good. He's more of a presence on TV talk shows to me because I do enjoy him. He's always
great.
funny. He plays a great.
He will be
You
in
know, he
the
also
new
appears-
Jurassic Park. He's
he
back.
also- I know, of course, and he also plays in piano clubs. He
does.
plays a great jazz
I've seen
piano.
him do live
He's
concerts.
wonderful.
He's good.
You've seen him do live concerts?
Well, on YouTube.
Oh,
Like I've seen him perform live on YouTube.
oh, well, who hasn't? I mean, you know.
No, but I'm saying this.
I mean, who hasn't seen stuff live on YouTube? But
Yeah, but not Jeff Goldblum.
I thought you were going
necessarily.
to tell me that you. Okay, we're going to move right on from Brawl. You love this film.
I liked it a lot. I liked it quite a bit.
Didn't love it.
No,
it's
but I liked it quite a bit. I was.
7 out of a 10, or 8 out of 10. I'm going 7.
No, I'm going to give it an 8. I really
Really?
liked it.
Okay,
I
cool.
give a big yes to this film.
All right, nice. All right,
a
I'm
very
going to
good
move
one.
right into Crash Pad.
Yes.
Crash Pad is a comedy. It stars Domhnall Gleeson,
Yes.
and
Who seems to be appearing on this
he is
show every
in
week.
Everything. You're going to see his picture right up there or right up there.
Depends.
Some people prefer both ways.
You'll never know.
You know something? I was a limo driver for once, and I'm standing there with a guy, and there was like 12 of us standing around, and a friend of ours had broken down, and we're all waiting for another car to come help him. So we see the tow truck come. So I say, just like this, I say, "Look, here's someone who can help you." Which, of course, is right out of the illustrious Wizard of Oz. And
Oh,
the whole
yes.
crowd broke
I
up.
liked
And
it.
that was one of the highlights of my life, because that's how pathetic my little life is, you ingrates.
I think you should write a book about your years as a limo driver.
Oh,
It'd be
God. Oh,
interesting.
yeah, that would just be a bestseller. In hell.
Not if you put your comedic twist on it.
My comedic twist.
Use that as the
might
jumping
be
off port for fiction.
The jumping off a cliff part.
You're so not utilizing your brain.
I do utilize
You
my
really
brain. That's
should
why
be,
I come to this show.
No, but you should be writing memoirs. You could have 3 really solid comedic memoirs in your repertoire.
in my repertoire.
You could.
I suppose you're right.
I mean,
Well,
I
thank
don't tell you because
Would
it's
you write
nonsense.
them for me, and then I'll just correct them?
No.
If you wrote them, I would then correct them and add the comic part to it, just like I have to do, when we redo
Yes.
aspects of this show. I put the little, you do something brilliant,
And then you
I'll
add
help
comedy.
with a little comedy to it.
Well, that's why we work
Regardless
so well
of that,
together.
the hell with that. Let's get into Crash Pad.
Let's
I really
do it.
like this film. And the beautiful Christine Applegate is in this film. And let's not forget that Christine Applegate was on the set of Married with Children. And who called it up? George Harrison of the Beatles,
He
know.
did.
He called it up and said, I know I'm older than you, but I'd like to have me way with you. And he did. He called her at the set.
And he said that.
And he did. He said
pretty
he
creepy.
wanted to. I know I'm older, but she had that Bridget Bardot, Patty Boyd look of the woman he
Look,
married,
was those
who
who
eventually became Layla and was stolen away by.
Was
Eric
that his
Clapton.
exact words? I'd like to.
No, he said, "Yeah, I know I'm older than you,
I'd like to take
but
you
if
out."
you wouldn't mind, having an older guy. Well, listen, when you're George Harrison,
Yeah.
you can pretty much just
I
say
know.
whatever you want, and you're a god.
Of course.
People will.
You can get away. You can't. Unfortunately,
You're-
now you can't get away with that shit. Today it's getting crazy.
Well, I don't know.
They're
about
cracking
that.
down
It
on that
depends
stuff
if
these
you're a
days.
rock star specifically, your penis.
I guess
just
it's
has-
expected if you're a
your
rock
penis
star.
has super glue on it. Let's be honest. It's just like a magnet that just women and come out of the woodwork. And it's just the nature of our planet, to be quite blunt. But okay, let's get back to this film. This film also stars the wonderful Thomas Hayden Church, who we all loved in Sideways. We recently saw him as
He's
a
great.
homeless guy.
Cardboard boxer.
Fighting people on the
Yeah,
streets.
that was a decent
I
movie.
liked that film.
Yeah.
It was good. But I like Thomas Hayden
He's a
Church.
good actor.
There's something about him.
Yeah.
And he's married to Christina Applegate in this
Yes.
film. She cheats on him with the skinny twerpy. There's a great opening scene where we have our little Domhnall Gleeson,
Yes.
this little red-haired man who you've seen. He's a very skinny, twerpy little guy.
Yes.
He was he was also in that great episode
Of Black Mirror.
Of Black Mirror that
Correct.
we love, where
Yeah.
he's the clone of a dead
Love.
dead
the
boyfriend
or husband, whatever. Yeah.
of a woman, and
played by Gemma Arterton.
I know, and
Arterton.
she's so wonderful.
She's
too.
great.
Yeah, I love her. But I'll tell you something. This film is very funny. But he walks around literally cupping his
Genitalia.
his genitalia while he's totally naked, and he's talking to Christina Applegate, who's lying in bed, and he's kind of now fallen in love with her. And after this is just a one night stand. And we kind of go on from there. And she's married to Thomas Hayden Church,
Yes.
who now wants to kill Domhnall Gleeson.
Ah.
So we have this whole comic ensuement
Mm-hmm.
of this whole episodic thing where now they both decide that Christina's the bitch.
Ah.
And so Thomas Hayden Church wants to come crash with little Domhnall Gleeson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they both go out whore hunting at clubs. I shouldn't say the word whore hunting, forgive me. One night stand hunting. They go to clubs and they're drinking, and
Yeah.
there's a great scene at they go to and poor little Domhnall, he can't hold the booze. He's just, he weighs 82 pounds soaking wet. But there's a great scene where they go to like a college dorm club. And so...
You're like a frat house?
Yeah, like a frat house kind of, but it's a club.
Okay.
And so Thomas is getting them totally loaded. So they have like Domhnall hanging upside down. They have like a giant tube into his mouth with booze in it. And then Domhnall gives a big speech and he says, "Listen, you all should be in rehab. You're all drunks. You're all alcoholics." So then everybody yells at him. They're all looking at him in shock. And then one guy yells out, "Give him the hobo's boot." And then everybody goes, "Yeah, hobo's boot." And there's a hobo standing there with one boot on.
That's funny.
They take the boot, they fill it full of booze, and they throw it down Domhnall's throat.
That sounds
I'm
good.
telling you, this movie has really got some hilarious moments
That's
to
cool.
it. I really loved it. Crash Pad, check it out. And I'll tell you
Also
something.
on Amazon.
Also on Amazon. And Christina Applegate, I'm telling you, she's really come a long way. I like the
She
fact
does
that
a lot of comedy.
She's done
Actually,
a lot
that's
of
mostly
comedy.
what
She
she
was in
does.
Bad Moms. She's in the new
She's
Bad
good.
Moms 2, which is coming out.
Oh,
Bad
it's the
Moms
Christmas.
Christmas or whatever nonsense. But something, I just like her. She's got there's just something about her. Not only is she drop dead beautiful,
Yes.
but she's a good actress,
Yeah,
and
no,
she
she's
really, she's touching.
I loved
this
her in
movie.
Anchorman.
Yeah, she's great.
She's
in
great
that.
in that film.
Absolutely, but she's also she's got some pathos in this. She's got some heartwarming scenes where you really empathize with her, the rejection that her husband has now
Yes.
put upon her by going to live at the crash pad of little Domhnall Gleeson,
Yeah.
and they become roommates, and it's hilarious.
That's kinda funny.
I really like this film quite a bit. All right, let's
Sounds
move on
entertaining.
to a big thumbs up from me. I give this film as a comedy.
Yes.
For what it's worth, it's an 8.
Okay.
As a regular film, I'd probably give it a 6.5.
6.5?
In the genre that it exists, a comic genre.
Well, that's good
It's really
because, like horror, those two genres generally tend to be a little lower.
And it always pisses me off because
it doesn't have to be.
Reviewers should simply say,
I know.
if you like horror movies,
Yes.
this is a great film.
Yes.
Because the horror people are different people. The comedy people are different people who, than the standard folk who are magnetized to drama, which is
It's true.
That's the big
Yeah.
movie, except for Avenger type,
Blockbuster, popcorn
the blockbuster
stuff, yeah.
popcorn stuff naturally. But I mean, the general drama is what the Academy Awards.
no,
I mean,
that's-
there's very few comedies that are ever, and very rare. I think The Exorcist is the only horror film that was ever nominated for Best Picture. But
Yeah, it's true.
regardless, it's a nice little.
Well, that's good to hear.
Nice little thing there. But I wish that more reviewers, and I always did want to write that book. I wanted to do a movie review book where if you like this kind of film, this is a great film.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't Citizen Kane, but in the horror genre,
It's-
I'm going to be talking about Leatherface very shortly. And in the horror genre, it's a good movie.
Okay.
It's very well done. Does it stand next to the Florida Project? No, by no means does it, because
Yes.
it's two different kind of audiences. They are literally cucumbers and lettuce heads.
It's true.
So there you
I know what you mean.
go. Okay. Take
Moving
it,
on.
Take it, Mr. Tomahawk.
As I mentioned before, I am going to quick cover Bone Tomahawk, which is a 2015 film.
It is.
But I'm referencing it tonight because I did watch it back to back with Brawl in Subblock 99, which is the same writer-director.
Okay.
Um,
I've seen Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah,
I saw it 2
and this is
years
available
ago.
on Amazon.
Yep.
It stars the wonderful Kurt Russell.
Amazing in this film.
Excellent in this movie.
Love Kurt.
It has another actor I love, Patrick Wilson.
Yep.
Another actor I love, Richard Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
Is in this film.
Absolutely.
And Matthew Fox is very good in this film, playing against type
Okay.
from Lost. And from back
Gotcha.
he was
Okay.
he was the villain in that Tyler Perry Alex Cross film that came out a few years
Oh,
ago.
okay. Yeah. I remember that. Okay.
This
that was
is-
Kiss the Girls?
No, this was I think this one was just called Alex Cross.
No,
Kiss
I
the-
don't think so.
No, Kiss the Girls was the one with Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Tyler
No,
Perry-
The other one was not just called Alex.
I think
maybe
it was just
Alex.
that or
You
just
might be
Cross,
right.
one of the two.
It wasn't Medina Boo.
It
2.
wasn't crap. No.
No.
But
You know,
anyway,
I saw the first Medina
I
Boo
know
movie,
you
and
did.
it wasn't that
And the
bad.
second one, you reviewed it on this show
I
last
know.
year.
The thing that bothers me about Medina, though, is she's got
Medea,
these
I know.
big giant Medea. Got big giant muscles,
know.
and he doesn't bother to hide that.
He doesn't care.
He'll show those big giant biceps.
Well, I think that's part of the joke.
I think that's part of
guess.
his gay charm or something. I don't know what it is,
But, I
but
don't know if he's really
regardless,
gay, is he?
I think he might be.
No. He loves dressing up like Medea.
He does love dressing up, so we might as well be, genderless.
You know what? More power to him if he
Morse,
is. I don't
God
give a shit.
bless you, Tyler.
He's found his niche and he's doing well.
He's the brother of Steve Perry, who's the lead singer of Aerosmith, actually.
Oh, really?
No, of course
I didn't
not.
think so.
No, they're two different colored
Oh,
people.
I'm joking. Of course I
Oh,
knew
I
that
didn't
wasn't
know
the case.
you were joking.
No, I was acting.
I never know the realms of one's stupidity.
Yes. So anyway, Bone Tomahawk is a very rough,
It's a brutal
brutal,
film. Brutal.
Western. I'm going to say
my God.
Western hyphen horror. This is slightly a horror film because of a couple scenes.
Couple scenes are just
And
grotesque.
this is a very
Horrifying.
simple story. It's a quest to find people that were kidnapped by these Native American cannibalistic creatures. They're humans, but they act so inhumanely they almost
do.
aren't humans anymore.
Very true.
They live in a cave. They eat people. They hunt you.
Oh my God! And,
And-
the action scenes where
Yeah,
they're chasing you,
it's phenomenal
It's
and
like
horrifying.
Alien. It's like
Yeah.
Alien. They're
And they-
coming after you with such
And they have
gusto.
these horrifying screams that they let
Yeah,
out.
they do.
It's almost like a war cry.
But where there is no
And-
escaping that one particular
No.
scene
No.
where
There
we
is a
see a body literally
Sliced in half.
sliced down the middle.
From
oh my God!
starting upside down,
And
from
it
the
looks-
anus down.
It looks so real.
It's
It
horrifying.
looks so real.
It
to
turned my
see.
stomach.
I know.
And I have a high tolerance for gore.
Do you?
That was rough.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I do. It doesn't really. I'm desensitized. I'll be the first to tell you.
Okay.
Through movies all these years, there
Well, true,
are a
true,
few
true.
that would affect
Yeah,
me.
yeah, absolutely.
This one, I was feeling a little. I felt something in my stomach for like 2 minutes afterwards.
I can't say
Brutal.
I can't say I blame you because that scene
So
is
violent.
so
And it's
horrible.
unexpected.
And you don't and it's a slow moving film.
It's very
it's
slow.
over 2 hours.
It's 2 hours and 22 minutes.
I
think.
know,
Yeah.
and it just goes on and on and on,
Yeah.
and and that's part of the pressure of
Again,
the
a
film.
slow burn.
That
Yeah.
slow burn that
Ugh.
you're just kind of sitting there going, well, when is something gonna? Whoa! Holy
And then it happens,
shit!
it's like, yeah.
And then you scream your bloody
Yeah,
brain
it's,
out.
It's
and
an intense film.
It
It's
truly
got a
is.
lot of character. It's beautifully acted, and I gotta say, this film has a phenomenal script. Some of the dialogue in this film, and I noticed...
Very wise, I agree.
Yeah, and I noticed the same thing in the writer, Zoller, his other film, Brawl in Cell Block 99.
I'm anxious
both
to see it.
films are very well written. There's a lot of dialogue.
He wrote both films?
He's a writer-director. He's also a novelist. He also wrote a couple books.
Oh, interesting.
And when Kurt Russell read this guy a couple of his novels, that's when he became aware of him. And he saw that this guy's also a very prolific screenwriter who just happens to now be directing films as well.
Right.
But he's a writer-director, very talented.
Yeah.
The dialogue, you notice it right away because you're hearing lines you haven't heard before. Very smart dialogue.
It is indeed. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
highly recommend Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah,
it's called Bone Tomahawk because that's the weapon that these creature people have.
Yeah.
They have a tomahawk made of bone, and it's horrifying. Oh, and then they show. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but
Don't ruin it.
They talk a little bit about the women that live in the cave with these people, and it's very grim. I highly recommend this film. Check it out again. It's on Amazon. Not for the weak of heart, though. If you don't like graphic violence, this might not be the film for you.
No.
But again, another great performance by Kurt Russell.
Absolutely.
Always reliable, always excellent.
He's like a carton of milk, isn't he? He's just
the
always,
best.
he is what he is.
Yeah.
He very rarely changes it up too much. I did
a
love
good
him
actor,
in the
though.
Escape from New York kind of stuff.
He's
and,
great. He acts with his eyes a lot, too. Like in this film, there were a couple moments, and I've noticed it in other films with him, he expresses a lot with his eyes in certain moments,
Absolutely.
and it's just very.
But he's got
very
he's got very thin,
He does.
he's almost got part Chinese or something. He's got very
maybe
thin eyes.
maybe I don't
there
know.
is an Oriental.
Somewhere
he was
in
a
his line.
Disney kid. He grew up being a Disney kid.
he was
He's
a
in lot
Disney
of
actor.
the Shaggy Dog
What,
kind
Barefoot
of stuff.
Detective, right? Was that him as a
Yeah,
kid?
I believe possibly that is correct. But I definitely do like her. I'll tell you
he's great.
something. Did you see? I hate to mention this because people scoff at me, and you may scoff at me, but I liked Guardians of the Galaxy too.
I liked it too.
The comic
I liked
world.
the first
Those are-
one better, but I liked the film.
But they're
He's
comedies.
good in it.
They're
Yeah.
first and foremost
They're
comedies,
comedy.
more
Yeah.
so than they are silly
I
sci-fi
agree.
films or just sci-fi films, for example.
Yeah.
But there's a great comic essence to them. Chris Pratt is perfect in this role, and I'm so sorry Michael
is great.
Rooker is not going to be back in the third because I
I
really
know.
loved Michael Rooker.
He was a great
as
part of the film.
Blue Man Group.
He's great.
That he was indeed with that arrow that kind of killed 20 guys at once. I love that.
Well, I think
But-
we're only going to get after the next Guardians and then the tie-in with the next Avengers film, Infinity War 1 and 2.
Marvel, yeah.
We're going to they're going to change the cast of the Guardians film.
Are they?
Because in the comics, from what I understand, there are many different people that populate the Guardians of the Galaxy. At one point, Michael Rooker was a member. I mean, he kind of was
I think
in
they're
this
going to
too.
drain it dry as long as Zoe and
Well, no, I heard
Chris
they're going to
and-
change him over because eventually Stallone's character becomes one of the Guardians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
From what I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
So this might
All
change.
I was going to say was Kurt Russell is dynamite.
He's
in
great,
the second
no,
one.
yeah, I
He plays
agree.
the father
Yes.
of Chris Pratt,
He's
and
great.
he's wonderful.
I
And
agree.
I'll tell you, by the time father to son plays from Cat Stevens by the end of the film,
It's great.
I was tearing up. I got to say, it was very
He's
touching.
really great.
That's very
I've always
sweet.
been a fan. I will always be a fan.
We're moving right into. We're only at the 59-minute mark.
We're doing
right
okay.
here. We're doing very well indeed.
almost
so
done.
we're going to talk about Leatherface very briefly. I've
It's a
already
remake.
mentioned it. It is no, it's not a remake. This is a prequel.
Oh,
to
because there was already a movie called Leatherface that came out in the
I
early
believe
90s.
there was, but
yeah.
that was not the
wasn't
very
a
essence
prequel
of this.
then.
This movie has a lot of surprises to it. You
Okay.
think that there's a kid who specifically, it starts out kind of where these kids are, what's her name? Tyler. What's her name?
I wrote it down.
Lily Tyler.
Lily Taylor.
Lily Taylor,
Lily Taylor.
who was wonderful. She was kind of in those,
She's
lot
good.
of the old, she was in the River Phoenix movie. Was it Running on Empty? No, it wasn't Running on Empty.
That was a good movie.
It was a
Was
good
that
movie.
her?
That was Judd Hirsch, and no, that was
Yeah.
the blonde.
Yeah, that
girl.
wasn't her.
No,
But she was in. She
that
was.
was the other Phoenix. She's a Phoenix also, I believe, the blonde. Who she's now in a TV show. Regardless, Lily Taylor is. She was in
yeah, she's been in a lot of
been
stuff.
a
She was
lot
in.
of stuff.
I mean, I always remember her from Ransom. She
Oh,
played
okay.
the one of the female criminals that was
Oh, okay.
in the film.
She's dynamite.
She's a great actress.
She's almost got an Amanda.
She was in
Plummer.
High Fidelity.
She's almost got an Amanda Plummer feel
Yeah.
about her,
Yeah.
where she's not the most attractive girl in the room,
But there's something
a
about her that
power
captivates
about
you.
her. She's
Yeah.
very, very good, and she plays the mother. She's
Yes.
the young mother of the whole
Okay.
clan of these inbred.
Yeah.
kids who were messed up, and this is where the whole Leatherface, where
Begins.
the whole thing starts. And but the character who literally becomes the Leatherface person is kind of misleading. I don't want to get into this too much.
You
'Cause I
said
know
Stephen Dorff is in this too.
Stephen
right?
Dorff is great in this movie. He plays a bad cop.
Great.
He's the sheriff in the town, or the
There's always an
and
element.
but he's really bad. I mean, he's just shooting people for the hell of it. A lot of death in this movie.
He always
and
seems
and
to have
well
a
done.
sadistic element to a lot of his characters. There is a meanness to him in most of his films.
But
I
I've
feel
seen
like,
him in comedies. I've seen him.
No, I have too. But I mean, he just plays those kind of parts often and well.
No, it's true. But he's
a good actor.
I think he's in general a pretty good actor.
I liked him in that Sofia Coppola film Somewhere. I liked that film.
Okay,
He was
there
the
you go.
actor and he hanging out with his daughter.
There you go.
That was a good film.
No, that was a good film. But he's wonderful in this. And this film is actually artistically beautiful. It's well shot. I mean, it's really done like a standard.
Great.
I think this was going to be a general release.
I'm
but
surprised that it was went
I think
straight
they
to
pulled
Amazon.
it. I think they pulled it because the horror genre around specifically this time of year, Halloween.
Yeah.
They were just inundated with films, so they just have to pluck the big ones. That they're going for the Jigsaw film now that's
Yeah, I
opening
know.
this Friday. I
Another-
believe
yeah.
Jigsaw opens.
Yeah.
That's the one with you know who, the guy from
Oh yeah, no.
the guy from
Saw film.
the Saw films, of course.
Yeah.
What's his name?
The actor is Tobin Bell.
Tobin Bell. Yes.
But
I
this
like
is a
Tobin.
sequel to the films. I guess there's a copycat killer or something in the new
Okay.
Saws.
Could be.
Because
But
obviously,
he's in the film, I believe.
well, I don't. Maybe as
Maybe as a
flashback because his
flashback
character's
or
dead.
Yeah. Well, his
But-
character was in the last 3
I know.
Saw films. He was dead.
Yeah, so they can always find a way to bring him back or
They can
figure out a
indeed.
way to do it.
Yeah, and
I don't know, those
regardless,
films are-
Leatherface is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It's
Well, I'm
very
happy to
very
hear that.
violent. We finally get our standard guy with the with the chainsaw going towards the end of the movie, and chasing the young babes.
And then leave
through
it
the-
open for another one,
through the misty wood. The
Yes.
woods are always misty. And I love the fact that she'll run for miles and miles getting away from them. She'll stop and she'll look, and now you know that somebody's right behind her,
Yeah.
even though it's impossible
I always
that somebody would be right behind her, but somebody
It
always
happens.
is, and it happens.
I always remember in the original film, the original Texas Chainsaw.
well, that's the
there's
Tobe Hooper,
Tobe Hooper. Yes, rest in peace.
1972, I
Yeah,
believe.
there's a scene where there's a girl.
Dennis Hopper was in that film.
I thought he was in the second one. In the second one, he shows up, not in the first one. I think.
Is that right? Okay,
The
you
second
could
one,
be
he's got
correct.
like 2 little chainsaws.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
The second one
that
had
was a good one.
that one character that's always
I don't think he
picking
can-
his scalp with a hanger and sucking on it. It's disgusting.
Oh, God.
Those movies are filthy. But anyway, there's a scene that always
There was
struck me in the first one where this woman gets captured by him, and he hangs her on a meat hook. And it's so real, the sound she makes, that it almost feels like this actress really was put on a hook.
Well, I'll tell
So
you
well
something.
done.
I remember when I was in high school, there was a movie that came out. It was based on Ed Gein. Ed Gein is the man that Psycho was actually based on. The film Psycho. And this film was called Deranged. And this film, same thing. And he would hang these women on a meat hook in the garage, and he would put a bucket under them
For the
to
blood.
catch the blood.
Wow.
It was just horrifying. It was just horrible to watch, and it was just gruesome as hell. And the whole audience, we all just sat there. I never really. I mean, these kind of slasher films really hadn't really.
Yeah.
This kind of film where there was just full female nudity hanging from a hook. I mean, I never seen anything like that. I took that image home with me, and I think I killed a squirrel the next day and hung it on a hook. No, that's not true. I've never actually killed an animal in my life. I couldn't
No,
do
me
it.
neither.
Oh, my
Other than a
God.
fly or something.
Well, I don't consider they're insects, but you're right. But now, something. Now I just read that they have these heartful. If you want to kill an insect, you can just capture it with this device, so you can bring it outside, so you don't actually have to kill the insect.
Well, I try to do that with a lot of things, with spiders.
Well, spiders,
and
I always bring them.
that, or maybe a moth, because they don't live a long
I'll
time.
put them a glass over them, and then I'll slide a postcard.
But you know what I kill with extreme prejudice?
Uh-oh.
Extreme prejudice
Uh-oh.
is stink bugs. I hate them.
Oh,
They're
stink bugs.
disgusting.
I've never.
I don't like them.
Thank God, I don't.
I don't
have
like
any.
silverfish.
Yeah,
They're
I don't like
disgusting,
silverfish either.
horrifying little
Millipedes,
creatures.
true.
But luckily, they're not really in the house. They're usually like outside or on the side of the
True,
foundation
true,
or
true,
something.
true.
But anyway, so should we move on?
But I suppose we
Are you
should.
done with Leatherface?
I guess we are.
All right. Well,
I
I'm
enjoyed
gonna,
the film. It was great fun.
Okay, glad you did.
I
I'm
did.
gonna touch briefly on this. HBO produced a documentary about Steven Spielberg called Spielberg. It's brand new. You can watch it on HBO. It premiered
Who's
a
it
couple weeks
about?
ago. Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, the filmmaker.
Oh, I see.
I don't think anybody would hear the name Spielberg and not know who I'm talking about.
So the movie's called
It's
Spielberg,
called Spielberg.
and it's about Steven Spielberg. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes, I hope it does. But I will say this:
Ay,
for a documentary, it's long. It's almost 2.5 hours long.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a little long.
That's what she said to me.
I know. Well, everybody's got their cross to bear. Right?
Well, that's so true.
But I gotta say this: for anybody that has watched movies, anybody that's familiar with Steven Spielberg, this is a fascinating documentary about a man who, in many ways, changed the industry forever. Changed film.
He did indeed.
He took cinema to a whole new area.
He took the general. And forgive me for interrupting for a moment, but if I may say,
go ahead.
If I may say, he took the commercial blockbuster and made it art.
He did.
He really did, and nobody had ever really done that before. We had commercial blockbusters,
but not
they
like this.
weren't really heartfelt.
Artistic,
they weren't really. Did you say autistic?
Artistic.
Okay.
And he brought a lot of heart to his films.
He really did.
He, in a way, as he will eloquently explain throughout this documentary,
Yeah.
worked through a lot of his own personal issues through the storylines of his movies.
But he just had a brilliant eye.
Oh, he has an amazing
eye. I mean, Schindler's List is
incredible.
a masterpiece.
It is, and he said that movie changed his directing style.
He
said he never worked so much. One aspect of what changed, he worked so much in handheld in that movie. He'd never really done that before.
Yeah.
And it was almost
that
documentary.
Film feels like a documentary.
It does.
It really
that was
does.
deliberate.
That film, I tell you, when they're collecting the Jews,
the ghetto liquidation.
Oh my God,
that was a
horrifying.
big. They focused a lot about that in this documentary.
And that beautiful little scene with the little girl with the red coat.
And they talk about that too.
You're supposed to focus on that little girl because later on we see her lying in a pile of bodies.
Yeah, and
with that little red coat. Oh, it's just heartbreaking.
And they said that Oskar Schindler really saw a little girl running in a red coat and then later saw her dead. That's
surprised.
true, yeah. So this documentary chronicles his career with great detail. Interviews
Does
with...
it do every single film right up to the present? Or do we leave a few things out?
This film goes... The most current film that's included in this documentary is BFG. But it covers everything.
A horrible piece of work. Beautiful looking film, but I did not like that film.
But this film primarily focuses on the landmark films.
Okay.
Most of his movies are mentioned in one way or another.
E.T., Jaws,
but they're not,
Close Encounters.
they don't spend 20 minutes talking about the terminal, even though I love that film.
I like that film,
I like
too.
that film. But
I like Catch Me If You Can. I just
they
watched
talk
it the
about
other
that.
day on HBO.
And the way they group a lot of the movies together are by the themes of the films. And that'll let them linger, not necessarily in a chronological order.
Okay.
So, you're about an hour and something in, and they're already on Schindler's List.
All right.
As opposed to if they did it in order, that would be towards the end.
Right.
But it's a really
that was 1993, Schindler's List.
I know, but I mean, in a 2.5-hour documentary,
But he hasn't really made that many movies since then, I guess, has he?
He's always done a bunch.
Has he?
Yeah, I mean, but what's amazing, and this I was already aware of, in '93, he did Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in 1 year. Incredible stuff.
Probably in 3 years or
so. No, both movies were released.
Well, I know they were both released, but he didn't make them. He wasn't.
He filmed them back to back because he left the end. Right when he was at the end of making Jurassic Park, he left to go start Schindler's List and left the last couple scenes to be filmed by Richard Attenborough.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't in this documentary. That's just something that I knew otherwise.
Oh, interesting.
But anyway, they covered a movie I forgot about, War Horse. That was a pretty good movie.
Oh, God. That movie was too brutal for me, though.
Well, I can understand that.
That scene at the end when the horses wrapped in barbed wire, that was just brutal.
It's a rough film.
That was brutal.
But it's a beautiful to watch. Gorgeous movie.
It's a beautifully made film.
It is. But I mean, it's just amazing that, and I say this to myself a lot, with all the filmmakers that I admire, whose films I just love, I think part of me, I take Steven Spielberg for granted. Because, he's been such... Well, no. Here's what I mean. Not deliberately. But he's been such a fixture.
Well, he has implanted himself in our lives.
And I almost forget to mention him as one of my favorite filmmakers because... It's just so much a part of my life that you forget that, hey, you know what? There was a period of time where this guy wasn't a fixture.
That's where I disagree. I've never forgotten him.
No, I'm not saying I
don't
forgot,
ever take him for granted either.
But I just feel like sometimes I don't always remember to mention him. Like I'll say Nolan, I'll say Tarantino, I'll say Michael Mann, Scorsese.
I got you.
And sometimes I might not necessarily mention Spielberg.
Point well taken.
But his movies mean so much to me and to all of us.
True.
It's such a fascinating documentary to watch. And he's just such
a
down-to-earth guy, too. He's a great guy.
No, he is a good guy.
And I just love when they chronicle the what early on it was him friends with De Palma and Francis Ford Coppola and Scorsese, and then eventually Zemeckis. That crew of powerful filmmakers all got this amazing break and all became significant pillars of the film community.
Very true.
That never will happen again.
Oh, yes, it will.
Well, to have that such close group of friends all have that kind of success, that's very rare.
No, I think it's possible, though.
Well,
I don't see where it wouldn't be.
It's like the Beatles happening again.
Well, the Beatles, well, that's impossible.
No, but
That
I mean,
will not happen.
to have 5
But-
or 6 best friends all be these massive big figures in film,
Well, then
that's
I could
kind
see.
of a tough long shot.
I could see that.
I don't know.
happening, though. I really could.
I could see maybe actors, but having that kind of influence, they came in
No, I don't
in
see why
cinema
not. I mean,
in such a unique period of time.
There's always that, you know, it happens to be, I also think it's a chemical thing. I don't think it's just that the organicness that they all just happen to be together. I think that they all influenced each other.
No, they
much
did, and they
like
competed
the
with
Beatles,
each
if you
other,
will.
and they encouraged each other. It was just an
Precisely.
amazing group of guys.
A great friendship, great camaraderie.
Yeah, but anyway, I hope you watch
and
this
great
documentary.
support.
Hope everybody watch it. It's fascinating. It's
Really?
great.
Okay.
And everybody's in it. Everybody's interviewed.
Yeah.
They even have Christian Bale in there talking about Empire of the Sun.
Why not?
Which is a forgotten film. It's a great film.
Not one of my favorite films.
No, but I like it.
Way
it's a good
too
movie.
long, and it's just.
It's a beautiful
but
film
he's
in its
good.
own
He's
right.
only 11 years old
He's
in that
very
film.
young,
Yeah,
yeah.
he is.
But it's just a great documentary. It's
I agree.
It's a lot of fun. You relive all those
Beautiful
movies
looking
again.
film. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful looking film. Empire.
This is just a great documentary. A
Okay.
lot of great stuff
I'll have
in there.
to check it out eventually.
But I think you should.
will. Yeah.
Anyway, that's an hour and 12 minutes.
I think we should hang it up here
Yeah.
for the.
We
for
appreciate
the,
you guys watching. We
yes,
hope you enjoyed it,
absolutely.
as
I hope
always.
you enjoyed our show. and,
We'll see you next week
we'll
for
see you
our
next
big
week
Halloween
for our
show.
Big Halloween show.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff.
we're
planned.
gonna have the fun plan.
Check us out on Facebook. Check out the YouTube channel. Film Banter on YouTube and Facebook. Email us, filmbanter@gmail.com.
Blah, blah,
As
blah.
usual.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, guys.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Adios.
All right, take care. We love you.
Be good
we
to
love
one
you,
another.
and be nice to each other.
And have a
God's
safe
sakes.
weekend.
Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin. Yes, I gave this young man a great deal of help back in the 70s and 60s through a man named Mr. Alistair Crowley. And we want you all to realize that next week we shall be featuring our special deluxe Halloween episode on the Eve of the Hollows, where you may all come in and join us with your own episodic bit of nonsense. So please, we want you to be here. I demand it of you by the gods above and the gods below. I thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
And that's it, folks.